You think that's air you're breathing now?
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is morning somewhere for June 26, 2024. It's early. My name is Bernie Burns. Sitting right over there, she lives rent-controlled in your head for only $413 a month. Ashley Burns, hi to Ash, everybody.
Look, he's back, baby.
Plus 67 cents.
And it's the 67 cents that really does it.
Yeah, I let my voice rest yesterday. Although I've got a little bit, I'm going to try to keep some gravel in it. I'm going to try to keep my deep voice if I can.
Yeah, you know, whenever I get sick and I lose my voice and it gets just that sort of like gravel behind it and then I start to get better, I'm like, oh no, but the voice. My ambition in life is to sound like the diplomat lady in Expanse.
Listen, if I'm really her,
Are you kidding? She sounds awesome.
Isn't she like, I've only seen a few episodes. It's one of those shows I've started like 5 times. It's my Mass Effect of TV shows. I keep starting it, and eventually I'm going to it's going to hook me, and I'm going to be all in.
I kind of got to my hook point, and then I got distracted again. But I got further in this most recent attempt than I ever have before, and I don't know yet what her deal is. I can't tell if she's full villain, if she's as the YA readers like to say, morally gray. But willing to break a few eggs to make an omelet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it seems like that character is like a character that exists. Maybe because I read a lot of sci-fi, it seems like it exists in sci-fi a lot. The character who's willing to throw out all the rules to save humanity, or to save the human race.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly common trope.
If I sound a little bit shot out of a cannon today, it's because I'm running on no sleep.
And 5 coffees.
Yeah, I've got a lot of coffee.
How does it feel to be this is, fairly early in the morning and you're already halfway through your day?
Yeah, pretty much. So I got up at 3:20 this morning.
At sunrise.
Actually, it was broad daylight when I got up. I had a friend I was recently talking with. She just got back from a trip to Iceland. And it was, while she was there, it was 24 hours a day of sun. And it was funny because she said, I felt like a bird. And she didn't have really an explanation for what that meant, but I got it,
Yeah.
And she can't go back. She's like, I can't go back to 24-hour sun. And so we got up at 3:20 in the morning because I set my alarm for 3:30. And whatever it is in my brain.
You woke up in such a panic.
I went, bleh!
He goes, my alarm didn't go off. Top of his lungs in the room. I'm sleeping very hard because it's been a long couple days. I'm super high. I'm like, what?
Turns out my alarm was set for 10 minutes after my brain said, wake up immediately in panic. And then I drove Teddy's crew, to the airport, which is like an hour and 15-minute drive. Depends on how long. Yeah, like an hour 20. So drove him there. And then JD and his girlfriend also left today. So we're the house is now suddenly quiet and empty. Can you hear it, everybody?
Quiet. It is a weird thing that happens, right? Where we don't have people and we're like, we should have people over and we invite people. And then for whatever reason, everyone says, I'm coming all at the exact same time. And then there's people just on top of people in the house. We just have them stacked up in the beds. And then you're like, oh my God, it's so tight. There's very tight quarters and everyone's tripping over everyone in the kitchen. And it feels like we never have enough glasses. And then everyone leaves. And then the house feels too big. I get empty nest. I get it.
Well, it's really sad, especially when the older kids, when they leave and they go away because they might not come back for months, And it's really sad a few days from now. Right now, it's like, I guess I've left.
I'm gonna spend my time sleeping and staring at walls.
Oh my God, sleep is gonna be such a nice thing. So so I got up at 3:20 this morning and drove everybody around, and then we had our little one Finn had his nursery graduation.
He's now a graduate, everybody.
Yeah, which is another empty nest thing because now he's got to join the workforce.
We're going to just hand him a little sweepy thing and start sending him up the chimneys.
We're going to go full Victorian here.
Look, kid, you're 4 years old now. You got to be earning for the family.
You got to earn a living here. So he graduated from nursery, so now he's making his way out in the world. So we'll miss Finn while he makes his way out in the world.
But the best of luck to him, wherever he is now.
He'll come back soon. And now we're just down to the little one, the little bug, Evie. So it's a very quiet house at the moment. It's very quiet.
It's nice, though.
How did you think the graduation ceremony went?
Oh, it was mayhem. The kids performed a song. I think they redid the words to Beyonce's Texas Hold'em to say that it's summer and something. Anyway, they're graduates now. But it's hard to tell exactly because, when you get a bunch of 4-year-olds together to sing a song, none of them are singing the same words at the same time or in the same rhythm. And so it all just comes out as a general mumble.
Yeah, and they do that shake back and forth. Like they just rotate.
Like step to step.
They don't move their feet. They just rotate their body while they sing. So cute. So cute. They had little caps, not gowns, but caps. And
caps. It was a nice time.
It was
fun.
absolutely wonderful. While we're saying all these positive things.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday was a fishing day. And a couple things, we went fishing with Teddy's crew before they left. And they caught 8 fish in 2 hours.
That's a lot of fish.
That's a
lot of fish.
For us.
Did they just crouch over their fish on the shore and eat them?
Ashley, they killed it. 8 fish in 2 hours.
That's a lot of fish.
They hit their limit in 2 hours. And on the way out, I ran into something which I like in Scotland. They're called honesty boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And most typically they are eggs, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Most of the ones that I see, like someone has too much of something, and they might put it in a box, just down near their mailbox, like at the road, right? And it's an honesty box. You honestly put money in, and you take away the things. So I've seen chicken eggs, duck eggs, or sometimes it'll be seasonal produce, like
cakes,
pumpkins, cakes.
But I got some eggs yesterday, and this is a big debate. There was no price there.
Okay.
6 chicken eggs.
Uh-huh.
How much should I pay for that?
£3?
Really?
Well, okay. I mean, yes.
Where did you? That was so fast. How did you come up with £3 that fast? So you're telling me a dozen eggs is £6?
I value
I'd say
it.
$8 if you're keeping score in America.
I value it at 50 pence an egg. Mostly because, and I realize that's expensive, but since we got chickens, I'm much more conscious about the grade of eggs that we buy, which is I don't want anything lower than a pasture-raised chicken. I want chickens to have room to roam. I want to feel good about the chickens and their lives if I'm going to eat their eggs. I
have to go back to the honesty box then.
Why? What did you do?
I gave £1. That's what I did. That seemed like okay to me. And also, that was the coin I had was £1.
Oh yeah, sir. You're good. You're going to march yourself right back there, sir, and you're going to put more money in that honesty box.
I wouldn't say it wasn't a dishonesty box. It was like...
until you got there.
It was an honest mistake box when I got done with it. That's what it was when I got done.
Yes, might have gotten away with it, too.
So I will go back to the honesty box and pay for my eggs at a higher rate. But I'm proud of those guys, man. 8 fish.
It's a lot of fish.
It's a lot of fish. But what is going on in the world? What do we need to talk about here, Ash?
One thing is you forgot to discuss this on yesterday's episode, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take over. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. They've beat the Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 7. So, congratulations to Carter Verhaeghe, who scored a goal and assisted in another to take the Florida Panthers to a title-clinching 2-1 victory over the Edmonton Oilers Monday, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And Bernie, can I just tell you, there's a lot of Florida moms out there really happy to have another Stanley Cup in the world.
Yeah, but there's a lot of dudes in the world who are upset that the Edmonton Oilers girl did not get her team to a win.
Who's the Edmonton Oilers girl?
Okay, so we were talking last week. We were talking about
does she have a Stanley Cup?
She got a couple of cups. She was. I thought she was during the Stanley Cup Finals. She had her incident, but it was actually in the Dallas Stars in the conference finals. So we were talking about people who go viral, right? And whether they lean into it or they don't lean into it. So this young lady who was at an Edmonton Oilers game, she flashed the crowd, but somebody was recording it at the time.
It's just one of those like up on the Jumbotron, someone gets a little overexcited and just boom, the boobs come out.
I must have missed this on the first go. I was all in on the Hawk Tua girl. And we hope they're not competing with each other. They should lift each other up. But yeah, she went viral, and she at first kind of hid herself away because it was an embarrassing moment. But then she was like, she did a U-turn a little bit, and she completely embraced it. And now, Ashley, she's got a deal with Playboy.
Oh, good for her.
Which I don't know exactly what that means. They're like going to do an Edmonton Oilers themed photo shoot that they're releasing. But Playboy has changed a little bit too. It's not just the publication. I don't even think they have the magazine anymore.
No, they shut the magazine down in like 2020.
Did they really?
Yeah, I don't think there's a Playboy magazine anymore.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. I mean, I guess I probably knew about that at the time, but yeah, it's a vastly different world now than when Playboy was like this, like weirdly risque but somehow mainstream brand. You know?
Yeah, like it was like sexy and it was naked ladies and stuff, but also people like it was like oddly this, you're right, mainstream kind of thing. And then
it might be one of the most like fringe mainstream things ever.
Yeah,
right?
and then they also I feel like they've made a couple of like business twists and turns through the years. I know for a while they got really into like merchandising and licensing, right? They would sell bunny themed stuff all over the place. It was a huge business for them. They had the reality show for a while.
I don't want to dox anybody, but I knew somebody who was associated business-wise with them, and the bunny and the logo was worth more than just about everything else. Like licensing that out for merchandise and such was an amazing business compared to almost everything else.
You know what would have been almost a really great business move for them is if they were to do like OnlyFans before OnlyFans had come along.
Well, they do kind of have that now, is what I'm saying.
They
have
okay.
like it's like a weird, like, I think they present it as being more like premium or boutique or curated, you know, than just like anybody can make an OnlyFans. I don't really know, honestly, but it feels like that's the way they're trying to present it.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway, on that note, I want to come back to that. But the Edmonton Oilers girl, she became kind of like this, like almost like mascot Lucky Charm of the Edmonton Oilers during the finals, to when they went down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, the now championship Florida Panthers. But then the Oilers came back, tied it up 3-3, but then ended up losing.
And so this is credited, their comeback is credited to her?
Well, everyone recognizes that she would have done even better had they won, you know? But a lot of people were saying she was their good luck charm, even though the event initially took place in the conference finals versus the Dallas Stars.
Okay.
But you can say maybe she did get them to the Stanley Cup finals. Maybe she did.
Just a little bit of motivation there.
While we're talking about OnlyFans, I never brought this up before.
Okay.
Do you remember the portal that was between Dublin and New York?
I do.
It was the Viewport
That was the one
thing.
that they had to shut down because some girl was flashing it.
Yes.
Oilers style, I guess.
Yes. This is all actually thematic. It's not just girls flashing. This is not. Do you know who that is? Do you know that person has been in the news before? She was the OnlyFans model who did that, was also the same person who went viral during COVID for licking an airplane toilet seat.
Oh, gross.
So this is a person who is like, finds her opportunities and maxes them out.
I guess so.
What else is going on, babe?
Let's see. There's another Cybertruck recall going on. So I'm going to need you to take your Cybertruck in, Bernie.
Jesus.
This time. So you'll recall the Cybertruck was recalled in April because
I do recall the recall.
Because the gas pedal, the accelerator, could get stuck down, which is not generally what you want to happen with an accelerator.
Good reason for a recall.
Yes, this time it's the windshield wiper. They're saying that on affected vehicles, the front windshield wiper motor controller may stop functioning due to electrical overstress to the gate driver component. A non-functioning windshield wiper may reduce visibility in certain operating conditions, which means if it rains, and then that may increase risk of a collision. So there's saying that all vehicles that were basically, it's pretty much all of them, I think, have to be sent in and have that fixed. There's another recall going on at the same time, and that is that part of the trim on the truck bed can come loose, fly out, and cause a road hazard for other drivers. And so they also have to go in to have that fixed.
You know, the windshield wiper thing is actually a bigger deal than it sounds like. Not because it's a road hazard or, you know, the driver could be blinded or something like that, but just from the story of the Cybertruck in general. One of the things that it was doing well that people were touting about it was that they kind of re-engineered, which is, you know, that's a process that's fraught for error. But they re-engineered the way that cars handle electric. They moved from a 12-volt system to a 48-volt system. And Tesla was doing, as they have in the past, they were doing this thing where they were sharing it with everybody so that everybody could now use this new system. And it was weird because, like, some people were very critical of it, saying that, you know, if it could have faults, and here's something that's being, like, served more electricity than what it needs. Was it a voltage problem that it was having for the motor?
I mean, it does say electrical overstress, basically. So Well, I'm not an electrician myself. That does sound like something in the electrical system is shorting it out.
It's just like how many more bullet points can be in the negative story of this vehicle? Because here's one of the bright points in it, and they're having a recall based on the electrical system, essentially, it sounds like, which is just like, oh my God.
Yeah, this vehicle is having a very difficult time.
Can I let you know a secret?
You may.
This thing is clearly a dog. Like, people go out of their way to make fun of this. There's a whole subreddit called Cyberstuck.
Oh, no.
Which is just like people just like going all in on the dog pile on the Cybertruck. But what that says to me is a year from now, 2 years from now, when they don't make any more of these things and like these things are like on lots and they're rusted and nobody's interested anymore, get yourself a Cybertruck. 'Cause I honestly, I think in like 20 years, like you'll roll out and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to bring out my classic Cybertruck. People are like, you have a fucking Cybertruck?
Like, do you know how rare those are? They only made, let's see, hold on, what's this recall? 11,000 of these.
There is a point in history where an incredibly negative story becomes really compelling. Don't you agree with that?
As long as you've also got the garage space to put it away for 20 years until it's cool.
Like, what's a famously bad movie that people still enjoy? Like The Room. People will go and see The Room. The people who were in The Room the day after that movie came out, they were just in a bad movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
But then 5 years later, 6 years
now
later.
They're in a cult classic.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, same thing. They were just in a bad movie when the movie came out. But years later, they were in this incredibly campy cultural movement, right?
Right.
So, Cybertruck, next up.
That's it. That's you, Cybertruck. You're a campy cultural movement.
And they can't recall you in 2040. Can't call you back in. Well, good luck to all the Cybertruck owners, man.
But I would also like to issue a recall of my own, if I may, Bernie.
Yes.
So we're talking about the good news coming out of Florida. Congratulations once again to the Panthers. But there is some unfortunate news coming out of Florida as well, and that is that dengue fever is being locally transmitted.
That's the word.
In Florida. So what that means is that people in Florida are getting dengue fever from mosquitoes in Florida without traveling to a dengue zone to be infected.
I think I had an article about this too. Let me read this to you really quickly. So this is from Fox 13 News in Tampa Bay. Your Tampa Bay Fox affiliate, actually. The CDC is reporting at least 6 Florida cases of locally acquired dengue. By the way, it's dengue in America, and it's dengue in British English. So your mileage may vary here. Cases of locally acquired dengue already this year, meaning those people did not travel to countries where dengue is most common, like Latin America or Southeast Asia. Instead, this CDC map shows there have been other reported 2024 cases in Pasco and Miami-Dade counties where victims were bit locally by mosquitoes carrying the disease. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that we're all just really lucky that mosquitoes aren't a huge issue in Florida.
Do you know what the advice of some of the Florida authorities was?
What?
Don't get bit by mosquitoes. It's like, thanks for that.
So just try not to get bit. So the scary thing about this too is like mosquitoes are one of those things that just seem impossible to get rid of, right? They can spray every inch of these counties where it's an issue. Not that they will, but they could. And still, you can't get all the mosquitoes.
Let me give you the most Florida news of all time.
Go ahead.
Don't whip your shirt off while celebrating the Stanley Cup win because you might get bit by mosquitoes on your bare
And then,
chest.
bam, dengue.
Dengue.
You know what's one of the scary things about dengue too is there's no real vaccine for it. There's one that's approved but is not really in use. And mostly what you do is you just treat the symptoms.
Okay.
You just have to try to treat the symptoms, and that's all you can do if you get it.
But isn't that kind of like everything, though? I mean, that's what we do with the cold, right?
Yeah, but when dengue fever's other fun pet name is bone break fever.
Jeez, is it really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You kind of want to steer clear if you can.
It's like its wrestler name or something like that. Holy shit. All right, well, on that positive note, do we have anybody to thank for this week's episodes, Ashley?
We do. I would like to thank Daniel L. and Alex De La Riva. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of Morning Somewhere at patreon.com/Morning Somewhere.
Thank you very much, Daniel and Alex. All right, well, that does it for us today, this June 26, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody.